Hi, my name is Makasy, and today we're gonna talk about accessories. And before we get into it, I would like to say that I believe accessories can make an outfit look better or feel even different. So let's say you're wearing an all black outfit, right? When you add some jewelry, when you add some necklaces, rings, whatever it is, it can make that outfit pop a little bit more. It's self-expressions, you know. Accessory help you to show more of your personality. For me, I wear silver jewelry. For some people, they wear gold. For some people, they wear 3-4 necklaces. I wear 2. Like it's another way to show off your personality through what you're wearing. So today I want to talk about my accessories and have like a conversation between you and I. So it should be fun. Let's get into it. First, let's start with the rings. So first, let's talk about these 4 rings right here. So these 4 right here. So these are just plain silver rings. So originally I bought some from Etsy from like. So I went through this phase of like wanting to support small businesses. I still do, but like I went on Etsy and like I saw this person selling these sort of rings for $100, like silver, 0.925 silver. So I bought one from him and I really liked it. I like it how simple it is. I like the fact that I don't have to take it off because I'm a very lazy person. Most of my jewelry, except for the Rolex, everything else, it stays on me through my shower, through my sleep, everything. Okay, so then I lost that ring when I was on a trip. Well, I was going somewhere and then I lost that ring. So I was like, okay, I don't want to spend another $100 on a simple plain ring. So I just went on Amazon trying to find a similar one. So then I found these. So, you know, so I bought these for like $10, $15, which is, it gives me the same vibe. It's still 100% silver. It's still 0.925. So it serves the same purposes without the price tag. So I really like that. I have 10 fingers, obviously. I have 10 fingers and I wear 5. So I used to wear one on my thumb, but I don't anymore because it looks a bit too busy for me. I think these 5s are good to me. And if you notice, I don't wear anything on my ring fingers because a person I care deeply about once told me I shouldn't wear it until I'm married. So I've taken her advice, and I think, but yeah, so anyway, so I have 10 fingers, I wear it on 5, these 2 on the left, these 3 on the right. So another ring that I have is this Gucci ring. So let me tell you a story about this Gucci ring. So right now you're probably seeing the B-roll of like what it says on the ring. So it says "Blind for Love," and then there's a Gucci logo, there's some more logo, and then there's heart, which I really like. And there's some more engraving on the inside, but you don't really care about that because it's not shown. But I'll show you anyway, but you're probably seeing it right now. But yeah, so this Gucci ring has an interesting story. So I fell in love with the saying "Blind for Love." So I was like, okay, I want something from that collection on me, whether it was a shirt, a sweatshirt, or something. And then I found these rings and I was like, okay, I really like it. And originally I didn't want Gucci ring. I wanted Louis Vuitton rings, but I found out that Louis Vuitton mainly uses brass, which I'm not a fan of, and Gucci, they use silver, which I'm a fan of. So I went to Gucci just one random morning. I didn't plan it. I woke up, like I knew I was gonna get it one day, but I didn't have a set date. So I woke up on a Sunday and I was like, okay, I want this ring today. And it was raining, so I drove into Boston and I parked at this spot. It was like one of those parking spots that has so many signs, like you can park here to here on this date, on this date, on this hour, and this hour. You can't park here, tow zone, snowing. It's like one of those places with so many signs, and I was so confused. So I just parked and then I just ran to the Gucci store and then try to go in as fast as possible so I can come back so my car will still be here. So I ran the Gucci store in Prudential Center and then I tried on the ring. I asked to try on the pinky and the pointy finger and the pinky, because I think pinky rings are so hard to come by, especially for me. So this pinky ring right here is the size 5.5, I think 5.5 US. which is very rare to find. So I knew I wanted something, but the other side of me was like, get a bigger size. It's the same amount of money. It's more bang for your buck. But like, I knew I should get my pinky because it's the hardest to find. And right now I'm looking for another ring for my pinky. I'm thinking maybe Cartier or maybe Margiela, but at the moment it's empty. So yeah, so this is empty. But yeah, so I got this Gucci ring that random Sunday about 2-3 years ago, and it's honestly my favorite ring because I like the heart engraving on it, and I really like the saying "blind for love." I think when you're in love, you are blind. You know, you're oblivious to reality because you're living in this dream world that you and your partner are in, and you're blind for love. I think I really like that saying, so that's why I got it. Okay, now onto my necklaces. So I wear 2 necklaces. Let's start with the silver belayed one. So this one is unbranded. So again, I got this similar one on Etsy for like 125 from this random seller. And then I went to Cambodia, and then we met the family, the Mekong River family. I did a video on them. I'll put the link in the description. It's in my charity video. So one of the girl, like, she saw my necklaces and she was like, I really like your necklace. I was like, okay, here, you can have it if you want. And she was like, okay, thank you. So I gave it to her, and then when I came back to America, I was like, okay, my neck feels a bit empty. I like to have 2 necklaces, not one, because one looks a bit weird to me. So I just went on Amazon. I was like, okay, let's just find a similar one. I don't want to spend another $150 on the same necklace. So I went on Amazon and I got this for like $20, something like that. It was really cheap. So again, this is 100% silver, not 0.925. And yeah, there's no meaning to it. I just like the blade because, I mean, I guess there is a meaning. So when I was in Cambodia, I used to go to this hut for a haircut, and if you go to like very traditional haircut place, they still use this sort of blade. Like they don't shave with the mechanic, they use the hand one. Like, I'll put a photo up, like, but yeah, so you put this blade in and then you would shave it. But when I was young, I didn't have any beard. I still don't. Anyway, when I was young, I couldn't grow a beard, so I would go, and then like the person in front of me, they would get their beard trim, and he would use that blade, and then it's stuck in my head. So I guess subconsciously my brain wanted to have the blade. So yeah, I guess there is meaning. So yeah, subconsciously I bought something that my brain wanted it to remind me of my childhood. Right, so the other one is by Maison Margiela. So this is just a standard 0.925 ring. Something special about this is that when I first got it, it's a lot longer. So it's a 2-in-1. It's called a necklace 2-in-1 Margiela. So you can take not half, but you can take like 1/3 or 1/4 of it off, and then you can use it as a bracelet. I wish I could show it to you, but I've lost it again. Like, I found it and I lost it like so many times already because it's so thin. But anyway, I'll try to find a photo to put it up right now. If I couldn't, just believe me that originally it's longer. It goes down to here, and then you can take the 1/4 of it, and then it can be a bracelet. But it's so wide, and you have to double cross it on your wrist. But anyway, yeah, so this is just a Margiela necklace with the initial M, which is, you know, standing for Margiela. It's also standing for my name, which is Makasy. Originally, I wanted to get the Celine alphabet necklaces. I'll put up the photo now. So that was my original choice, but then I found that it was well, first of all, it was sold out, and second, it's brass. Like, I'm not too big a fan of brass. I think when you buy brass jewelry, you're really buying the brand and the design rather than the material. I just wish they made that in silver and then just gold plated it to get the color, but it's brass, so it's hard for me to justify paying $500 for a brass necklace because it's brass. I don't know, but yeah, you're really paying for the Celine name and the design under Phoebe Philo. But yeah, I still want it. I've gotten more money since, so I can afford it now. So I might get it. So yeah, I might get the initial, the letter M with, yeah. But I heard like it doesn't even come with a necklace. You have to buy it. You have to buy this thing. So you only get the pendant. So it's even worse. So like that's probably what, $600. All right, so we got rings, we got necklaces. Let's talk about this clip real quick. So this is by a brand called Peaceminusone. This was started by G-Dragon. G-Dragon is a very influential person in my life. He got me into like, he made me feel like it's okay to express myself through my clothes, because like G-Dragon is very out there. Let's just call him GD for short. GD is very out there with his fashion, and he's pretty fearless. Like he's a chameleon. Like he doesn't have a particular style. He adopts every style into his own thing, and he makes it his own thing. So like when I first got into K-pop, I really like Big Bang, I really like GD, and then he wears a lot of his own brand, which is Peaceminusone. And then I went on eBay, paid a stupid amount for this clip, more than I'm proud of. But yeah, I just add this onto like my outerwear, and it makes a black outfit pop a little bit, or gives it a bit more dynamic. You know, it makes a blank outfit a bit more dynamic. This is called a bulldog pin. Yeah, bulldog pin, yeah, something like that. But yeah, so this is one of my accessories. I just stick it on. I have like 3 of these. So I stick this on my trench coat, on my blazer, whatever outerwear I wear. It's a little, because like GD was one of the main person that got me out of my shell to really believe that I can express myself if I want to through clothes, and not care too much that people would judge me. So in a way, it's like, this is to remind me of where I came from, or how I started my fashion journey, which was 2015, 2016. So it's a little reminder, but it's still a great accessory to have. Like you can just get a random bulldog pin without the Peaceminusone logo on it. It's probably like, you can probably get 10 for like $5, something on Amazon, like if you look it up. But yeah, so it's a great pin. It has the Peaceminusone, and then it's the initial. I'll put the logo here. So you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, but so what else? What other accessory? Yeah, so let's talk about the big boys now. So let's talk about the Rolex. So a bit of a backstory. So when I was 5 or 6 in Cambodia, in Phnom Penh to be exact, I used to go to these arcade places. And when I say arcade, it's not like going to arcade to play games. It's going to the arcade to play games to win money, like with the horse game, with poker. I used to go to these arcade places, and then on the way back there was this Rolex poster or commercial. My brain's a bit jumbled, but it was during when I was 4, 5, or 6 years old, and I would see this Rolex poster or commercial somewhere on a TV that I would walk by, and it was always mesmerizing to me. And I wasn't a watch person, but so I went back home, I asked my family, like, hey, I saw this Rolex watch, how much is it? And they were like, dude, don't even think about it. This is out of the realm, don't even think about it. To their surprise, I did not stop thinking about it ever since. And ever since that year, that month, that day, I was like, I'm gonna get a Rolex for myself one day. And I was able to achieve it about 3-4 months ago. So this is the Rolex Deep Sea, reference number 126660. This is the big boy. This is a size 44. I believe this is the biggest that Rolex makes it. And this is, if you look closely, it looks very similar to a Submariner, but specs wise, this is a lot better than a Submariner. So a Submariner goes down 300 meter. This thing goes down to 12,000 meter. So yeah. And there's another colorway called Dub, the James Cameron, but I don't like the dial. But yeah, so the James Cameron, it goes for a lot more. This still goes for like 1,000 or 2 over retail, which is good. So this will appreciate in time. Retail on these were $12,000. With tax, it was 13 something. Let's say 1350 for even sake. So yeah, so I paid $13,000 for this, and it's always a dream of mine to own a Rolex, and to say that I finally achieved it, to say that I finally got it for myself with my own money, it's something that I'm proud of. And it's also this is like me achieving a dream of the younger self, the younger Makasy once had. Like this was on the wish list of him, and I'm glad that I can achieve one of the dreams of that little guy. The guy who ran and saw that poster and saw the Rolex poster, and then when his family and friends told him, don't even think about it. It's out of the question. You will never own it. And to think that I own it now, it's very surreal, you know, it's very surreal. And I think my life has always been about achieving all the dreams and wishes that the younger me made. For example, I always wanted to own a car. I now own a car. I've always wanted to have a driver license. I have a driver license now. I like the younger Makasy had a lot of dreams, and the older Makasy, the present Makasy, has been one by one just checking off that list of his. And you know, and I think I won't finish that list of his, but I'm gonna try my best. But I think the moment I think the wish is done, I think that's when I die. So, but don't worry, there's a lot of things that poor bastard made when he was young. There's a lot of things on his wish list that he wants to achieve, want to do, a to-do list, a bucket list, whatever you want to call it. But there's a lot of things, like, you know, visit Paris. I went to Paris with my friend. Visit South America, which is something I haven't done, which I will do very soon, I hope. You know, visit Russia. I've always had this deep fascination with Russia, and I've made a few Russian friends, and so when I go over to Russia, they promise me they will take me around and, you know, show me around. So that's gonna be fun. But yeah, so that's a quick story about this Rolex. Yeah, so let me give you a bit of specs. So this is the Rolex Oyster Perpetual. Oyster just means waterproof. Perpetual is that it's automatic. It's there's a screw down. No, that's too boring. The bezel. So it unidirectional rotatable 60 minutes, and it's a ceramic. It just means that it's more scratch resistant, and it's waterproof up to 3,900 meter or 12,800 feet. Something unique to this watch is that there is a helium escape valve, which is just when you go too deep into the water, like the water will, let's not get too technical. But yeah, so the power reserve on this is about 70 hours, which I believe is one of the highest. I also want to tell you another story about why this Rolex is important to me. It's not about the Rolex itself. Well, I guess it is. This Rolex helps a bit with my self-confidence, because although I am confident, there's an aspect of me that I'm super insecure about, which is this, let me tell you. So I still have the imposter syndrome whenever I go visit like big stores like Louis Vuitton, Saks, Barney's, which is out of business. Like those big stores like Neiman Marcus, Burberry, Celine, the Rolex store. Like I still get super anxious whenever I go in there. I have to like build myself up before I go in. So I think 3 weeks ago I went into Cartier, and like I had this Rolex on with me. If I didn't have this Rolex on with me, I would feel a bit more insecure and more out of place. So what this Rolex has done for me is that it has made me feel like I belong. Like, even though it's just in my head, but it makes me feel like I belong in this store, like in this Cartier store. Like I belong in here, like every other person that can walk in. Like it's not like they're gonna judge you, look at your outfit and say you can't enter. But in my head, I'm like, these workers are judging me. They don't think I belong here. It's just my brain playing tricks with me. But what this Rolex has done has eliminated that. So I went into the Cartier store, and like I didn't have to work myself up too much. I did have to I stood out there for a second like, Makasy, you belong here. It's fine. You're about to buy something, or you're planning on buying something. You can go in. Don't worry. Don't stress yourself out. But it's the imposter syndrome in me where I feel like I don't belong to this rich world, rich stores that I'm about to walk into. I still feel nervous going to the Gucci store or Saint Laurent or Louis Vuitton, because I just never feel like I belong in there. I just never feel like, and I don't want to waste people's time, even though I know the workers are there to help me, to assist me. But like for these big stores, if I go there without the knowledge of like I'm getting something, I would just not go in. I only go into the actual store to like get something. I will never go in there just to try on stuff and leave, because I would feel so guilty about wasting somebody else's time, even though I know it's their job. But in my head, I feel like I'm wasting their time, and I never want to bother other people if I don't have to. So, but with this Rolex, with this thing right here on my wrist, it has made me feel more confident going to those type of stores and being in those type of places. But yeah. So more than anything, more than the fact that it's a Rolex, it boosts my confidence in that aspect. I'm confident everywhere else. Like, I think I'm pretty sure you can get that vibe off of me. Like, I'm not an insecure person, but in that aspect where the imposter syndrome sets in for me, like into those big rich stores, high-end stores, that's where my insecurity lies. That's where one of them lies. So this Rolex has helped a lot. So I would never trade that for anything. Like, in fact, I am gonna get a second Rolex soon, but there's like a shortage right now. There's like a shortage of like Rolex watches on the market. So, but I've talked to my AD, which stands for authorized dealer, and I've already put my name on a list. I don't know, I feel like I'm on the fake list because I haven't spent too much money at that Rolex store, but they said they would call me if the model I wanted come in, so let's pray. But yeah, so a little bit more about the watch. So the Rolex Deep Sea is not one of the more sought after. The most sought after Rolex, I believe, are the Daytona and the Submariner. And then it's probably, so the Explorer 2 has become a lot more popular. I think the date, I think it's too simple. I think it's just a date just with the day. That's, okay, I think, yeah, so the Rolex Deep Sea is not one of the more popular pieces, but I truly think that this is gonna be one of the more, I believe that in the future, this particular model, this reference number 126660, will be one of the watches that will stood the test of time and appreciate and value a lot more as in 30 to 40 years from now. Because right now you can get, I mean, you can't walk into a Rolex store and get this particular model. You need connections. I'm pretty sure that if you were to walk in there and you don't have any connection, you just saw a Rolex store, you walk in and you ask to see some watches, they will only show you the date just. Because the professional watch or the diver watch, like the Submariner, the Explorer, the Sea Dweller, Deep Sea, and all that, like the professional watches, it's like reserved for the people with connection, because the dealer wants to sell it to the people who has relationship with them. So this is one of those watches that you can't really walk in and just ask, hey, can I get the Rolex Deep Sea? Can I get the Rolex Submariner? Let's not get too deep into the watches mumbo jumbo. Anyway, this is another thing that I wear daily. There are scratches everywhere on the bottom, but you can get that cleaned up by Rolex. It's fine, as long as you don't mess up the whole watch itself. The bracelet, it's fine if you have some scratches. That's my accessories. And once again, these rings, I don't take it off when I go shower, sleep, anything. These necklaces, I don't either. The only thing I take off is my Rolex. Everything else stays on me because I'm a lazy person. But yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Makasy. It's been a pleasure speaking to you. Tell me about your accessories in the comment, and we can start a dialogue. All right, thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.